Not only Tekashi 6ix9ine was working with the feds in the now famous Trey gang racketeering case. Let's be clear. It's going to be Tekashi 6ix9ine to take the bulk of the blame. It's going to be Tekashi 6ix9ine to be called the rat and the snitch because he's the high profile rapper who had a big time record, who's having a successful music career, that was bragging about his street credibility, that said nobody would touch him, with the 6ix9ine on his forehead, with the colorful hair. It's going to be Tekashi 6ix9ine when it's all said and done and we look back on this case historically to be labeled the guy that snitched, the rat that outed the Trey gang. But there were other people involved as well, not as high profile obviously, but they do deserve to be documented and reported on. In a courtroom on Monday, Tekashi 6ix9ine's and the Trey gang drivers, Jorge Rivera, testified that he had been working with the feds on this racketeering case since May of 2018. Rivera was a very easy flip for two obvious reasons. The feds threatened him with the same racketeering charges that all the Trey gang got, but they also let the driver know that you will be deported. And with everything going on in the White House between Donald Trump and ICE, Rivera knew that was just a chance that he did not want to take in a courtroom pleading not guilty. So he agreed to work with the feds, hoping that his cooperation would be enough to keep him from getting deported. Rivera was released from immigration jail back in July of 2018, and that's when his job with the feds started. He returned driving for Tekashi 6ix9ine, business as usual. Later that month, it was Rivera behind the wheel when Tekashi was in the backseat of a Chevy Tahoe when he was rear-ended. As we talked about on my platform multiple times, Tekashi 6ix9ine was kidnapped, according to Tekashi and Rivera, by Anthony Harv Ellison and Shay. He was kidnapped, forced to go to his crib where his baby mama was at, give up some money, all the jewelry that he had on him. And people were like, yo, how was this entire thing recorded with great audio? Well, here's your answer. Rivera was working with the feds. He followed the kidnappers as they sped away with Tekashi in the back seat. He abandoned the chase when one of the men got out of their Honda Nissans and began running towards the Tahoe with a gun drawn, even pointing it at Rivera. Days later, after the kidnapping, Rivera secretly recorded Tekashi 6ix9ine and his manager Kufano Shotty Jordan discussing the kidnapping incident, and he gave that audio to investigators as preparations were being made to move Tekashi from Bedford to Long Island amid the internal gang strife. Rivera testified that he noticed an AR-15 rifle that Kufano Shotty Jordan had given Tekashi for protection, as well as a blue backpack Jordan stole from a rival at gunpoint in Times Square earlier in the summer. Rivera was a very important piece to the investigation. Based on the information we now know on this platform, here's my educated guess on how this entire situation played out. The feds first flipped the driver Rivera, pretty much telling him, if you don't work with us, you will likely be deported and then sent to prison in the country that you came from. Then after gaining all that information, the feds picked up 6ix9ine months later, pretty much reciting everything that 6ix9ine had been a part of the last couple years back to him. And 6ix9ine probably was wondering, who the hell has been telling all this information? The feds probably told him a little bit of it was from the driver, and they maybe even lied and said some of that information was from Shotty or other members of the Trey set. And that's when Tekashi 6ix9ine probably easily said, you know what? They flipped on me. I already know they didn't like me. It was already going down the drain. I believe y'all. I'm pretty sure the Trey gang is in here snitching. So it was an easy flip of the driver, and then an even easier flip of Tekashi 6ix9ine, who's likely never built like that anyway to withstand that lifestyle. More importantly, be able to call bullshit on the feds. When Tekashi's driver was pretty much asked, Had him and Tekashi been working with the feds and cooperating with law enforcement officials the entire time? Rivera responded by saying no. And did he ever believe Tekashi was suspecting him of cooperating? The driver said yes towards the end. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Crazy case, man. And it's even getting crazier. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV.